improved version of Close to Heart intro and a little bit further in.
Good job, Trevor. High five on that one.
Everybody.
Welcome to the podcast.
Try
Two
to
lonely
suck
boys in a canoe.
Just try to suck a little less every day.
Exactly. It's not about being Superman. It's about not being the homeless dude that can't play.
Always moving forward, not backwards. Progression.
Progressive. E40. What's up? Welcome to the podcast, folks.
Fucking Porky Pig over here. That's
smoke. Smoke choking. I am Chris Evans.
Call it now.
As always, it is Trevor Ahlstrom with me today, my cohort.
I am Gorgeous George. Chris is Gravicits, and we have the great Sage back.
Joining us today,
Sage.
Welcome, Sage.
Hey.
So yeah, let's see.
Right. How you guys been?
By the way, you've been on the show now more than anybody.
Fuck yeah!
We're gonna
beat your brother. I know that.
Have a contest.
Hey, you beat your brother
to see who can be in the podcast the most. I guess within a year, to the end of the year.
So it was a tie between Sage, Sage's brother Michael, and then their mom Christine, and then the old Chris Kennett Silver Squirrel.
I don't think Angelo should count because Angelo's technically not here. He's calling in. That's unfair.
He's called here twice.
Yeah, it's kind of unfair.
Yeah. He's the call-in winner.
Yeah.
It's a different category.
Exactly. We
he
set it up so that all the special Olympians can.
Yes. Guys, don't chew on the safety cones for your safety.
Can I let the listeners know that since we have gotten a kitten, my patience has been really tested this last week or so.
It's like having a.
It is like having a kid, but a kid with knives. A kid with knives that runs
is way more acrobatic
and that flips. So the thing that's been driving me nuts lately here is in the morning, it's our time to go to the bathroom together. She goes, I go, we hit the bathroom around the same time. The problem is while I'm sitting on the toilet, she'll come up behind the toilet and she'll grab like the back fat of my fucking back.
What's
and
up,
she'll
Chris?
hang there.
Oh.
She'll hang there, one claw in me, and just be looking at me like, what's the problem here? And I'm just screaming bloody murder. It's 7 a.m. It's just.
I'm gone by then. But
no, exactly. Like, you didn't hear it
left.
this morning. I slammed a door and shit.
I heard you this morning right when I was leaving. She did that to me
doing. Is nuts.
She does that. She did that to me yesterday when I was doing dishes. She kept jumping on doing the same thing. She has a face like, I'm adorable. Like, you are.
She is adorable, but we need to fucking clip her claws. That's the problem. The cat's been alive long enough, and she's never had her claws clipped. It's about 8 weeks. That's about the time you should start looking at the first cut. But other than that, once we take her claws down a little bit,
first cut is the deepest, like the Sheryl Crow song. Anyways.
Well, the first shot is the deadliest, like the movie Crow.
Good music in that, by the way.
Oh,
good fights and
great music. Good guitaring.
Yeah, Brandon Lee fucking played guitar. That was him.
Fuck yeah.
Martial artist and good guitarist.
That was the beginning and the end of Brendan Lee, and it was one of the dopest movies ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if he had lived longer, I think he would have made an impact for sure.
He would have been a bigger actor than his father.
His timing, the universe had other plans. Unfortunately.
God said, I need another Bruce Lee.
He's like, yeah, I need some more guards to the gates here in case Satan gets all riley.
Exactly. I need a couple Bruce Lees, not just one.
Hey, bad folks don't go up to heaven. They fly. Don't go to.
Wouldn't that be weird if you did die and you did go to heaven, and it's just all the people that are like your family and your extended family, relatives, I suppose. And they're all like, hey, you're dead, asshole, welcome up. And then St. Peter's like, hey, we gotta check in at the gate real quick. And then you go over to the gate and he's like, I don't like the looks of this. And all of a sudden you're getting down the stairs.
He's like looking to list all the bad
like,
shit you've done. He's like, ooh.
What the fuck what's wrong with you?
You had sex with a platypus at a children's hospital? What?
I mean, it was there trying to fulfill wishes, and my wish was to, make a wish platypus.
Hey, instead of what if God was one of us, what if God sucked off a platypus?
God must have a shitty or an amazing sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
He does some fucked up things.
No, the platypuses are proof that God has a good sense of humor.
Oh, Bible was very interesting. We were trying to figure out the world, like, we can use science to figure it all out. And then the universe was like, platypus. As we were going around doing taxidermy, we're like, what the fuck?
They're like a duck, right? Duck and an otter. They fucked. It's duck otter.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Duck
It
otter.
lays eggs and lives in the water.
It lays eggs and it's poisonous.
And has a poisonous spike.
Yeah.
Also makes a weird sound. I've heard the call it makes. If I woke up and there's a platypus
It's
making
like
that purr noise
cuckoo,
and then
cuckoo,
about to
cuckoo.
stab me, I would be in full fight or flight mode. I'd be freaking out. Just, ah! And like, what is going on?
All right, Trevor. So what do we got on the old agenda for today? I know we got today our top 10 at least America list. We're trying to do some top
you should
10.
join in. We're going to do the top 10 classic rock and roll band list.
Yeah.
So we're going
to do
We're
America.
going to do America. Sorry, UK, but America did it first.
Yep.
We know you helped.
We'll get to you. Don't worry.
And the world, you also helped. But America, we did it first. So
we
we're
stole
doing
it
America.
from the blacks.
That's true.
We
blacks
stole it from the blacks.
and the Latinos and the rednecks up there. We
anything-
stole from everybody.
Anything that's good in American originally was stolen from something. Somebody
Yeah,
else.
we stole from a bunch of cultures.
Gotta steal to get
Including
where
but
you're
not
going.
limited to our language.
Yes. Oh, God.
Gotta do it. You
But
want to
yeah.
be original, don't you?
But we got all kinds of exciting.
Exciting news. We haven't been here in a while.
Yeah, it's
I'm
been a
coming
week and a
off of
half.
Crazy sickness, and Trevor's doing fine. Trevor never gets sick. I fucking get sick.
I
when
get injured. I
He
get
gets
injured. I get cut and
sick
injured.
when I get overworked too much.
So we already talked about it. Like, Chris will probably die of a sickness. I'll probably just, like, lose an arm or
Trevor
something.
doesn't get down with the sickness like I do.
Look, Disturbed hasn't had a good record since that record, all right? Just to be clear
It's
there.
so true.
You're right.
Guys, since
Hasn't had
2001.
shit.
2001.
The lead singer did a cover of
Sound
a
of
Hall & Oates
Silence.
song. Yeah.
No. The Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah.
And
And it was good.
it was
But
really good.
The lead singer is the only person in the band that I kind of give a shit about because he's got a good singing voice, but he does shit music, man. It's all just gargle fucking rock.
It's like he had an entire band where the songwriter was Ringo.
And, yeah.
Weird.
Good. That's a good
Weird.
analogy. And David, yeah, the whole band,
It's
like,
a bunch of yellow buses. It's a bunch of fucking submarines.
we're all yellow submarines. The fucking walrus, cuckoo choo. But
I'm
yeah,
the Eggman.
Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds, but
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I actually heard that today. It was a great song.
Did you?
And my niece is named after that song.
told me.
My niece is named Sky, and my sister's named Lucy. And she named her daughter Sky because she's like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I was like, all right, man, that's a good one.
that is good.
Yeah.
So we'll go over some news. We got the rock and roll list.
What's the news, Trevor? What's
Well,
the news?
I'm not finding it so I'm just going to improv. So here we go.
It's all fake news. Fake news.
Fake news. The government
Recently, Bigfoot was captured.
and
Usually Bigfoot just got punched in the dick by
and
Littlefoot.
the government
He's like the perfect height. Yeah.
and the government cares for you, and hot chicks are attracted to nice guys that work hard.
Here's not a
Yeah.
fake. Here's not a fake one. They used to do LSD experiments on the United States Army.
Oh yeah.
No, that's true.
That
That's 100% true.
That was such a fucked up thing. And they didn't know how to dose properly, so they'd give people ridiculous amounts of acid. They'd give them like 300 hits.
Yeah.
one of the scientists in charge of that, according to the government, just had a really bad trip and just jumped out of that window.
Yeah. There was
Because
I've had
quite a
some
few-
bad trips, but I don't think I've ever been.
Well,
there.
they took
quite a few
crazy
experiments
amounts.
where they afterwards, like, they just dumped the private. They had lost their sanity and shit, and they couldn't do anything with them. Technically, the experiment was over. You know, they got the results they wanted. So what do you do with a person that's gone insane because you gave them way too much acid?
Right, so it was
you
like
kick them out of the
turbo
army.
fried.
You kick them out of the army.
And now they're just a crazy person on the streets.
Yeah,
running
yelling at God.
Hell, I probably kicked a few of them out of my 7-Eleven.
It happens, man.
Probably.
It really does. Thank you, government, for always looking out for us.
and ruining us and then just kicking us out. And like, all right, here you go.
Did you guys hear about the PACT Act getting passed here recently?
No.
So there was a bill in Congress to put a lot of money into the veterans.
The burn pits
that fought in the recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and even like Desert Storm. There's a thing called burn pits that a lot of these guys were affected by. They're carcinogenic pits of smoke that basically are waste, human waste and garbage, and usually as a punishment, the military makes grunts burn these piles
with jet fuel,
with gasoline and high-powered diesel and stuff. And what ends up happening is these people are just exposed to it. There's no real way to breathe properly around a billowing pile of smoke. So years of that later, you got a lot of people dying from lung infection and disease and cancer. So they made this idea to put a lot more money into the veterans. And recently it got stopped in Congress because Congress is full of shit.
Of course.
By a bunch of Republicans that they were saying it's basically another spending bill that the Democrats want to sneak in a bunch of other shit.
But they weren't doing that.
But they were sneaking in some things.
Okay.
But it goes both ways, man. Do you want to help them out or not? Okay, these people fought for your country. They fought for you, and they made sure that you stayed in your nice little house. So give them what the fuck they need. And yeah, man, we are doing some frivolous spending right now, but the problem is we're coming out of a fucking crazy quarantine where the economy just shot to shit, and we're coming back to try to be normalized again.
And we also have we're having more general homicides than ever before. Violence is going up.
Depression is up way. Fucking anxiety is up through the roof. So
that was
the
actually
American
something.
people, like the feeling that the American people have is just uneasy depression.
We
and
have
anxiety.
this war over in Europe that might
Nobody
lead to all
knows
kinds.
what's going on with the fucking war over there.
So it's kind of like the beginning of World War II, where like the world is on
People are
on
uneasy,
knees or on our knees. Similar to
And-
like we're right on the brink of who knows what.
Fucking,
All you need is that push.
where is it that Nancy Pelosi is supposed to be visiting right now? Apparently,
Taiwan.
Yeah.
With China, yeah.
China's doing fucking live fire fucking military tests there.
Yeah.
Right when Pelosi having to be visiting, like,
Well, the
I
problem-
swear it's a coincidence.
Well, the problem with certain
Sure.
areas of China is they're populated enough and they don't want to be a part of China anymore. But China's not willing to give up territory. It's like if a state wanted to secede from the United States, how you wouldn't let that state secede.
It's the same shit we saw fucking when, England went from being 87 fucking countries to just the one island.
Exactly. and that's what it is it's losing territory.
World War I definitely helped.
And China has a problem right now where they keep quashing all their people's voices. They don't let anybody get in outside information. They're kind of like Russia and how they doctor everything.
Yeah.
That goes to the people.
The advantage Taiwan
And
has.
It was a real thing a couple years ago in Hong Kong.
Oh yeah,
One of the biggest
huge
cities.
protests. They had one of the hugest organized protests ever. Like there was one point over 1 million people just organized rioting for days and days and days in the heat.
Well, I love how America and China like talk so much shit about each other. It goes the same way with Russia. When we're all the same enemy, like everybody does shitty shit. Everybody steps on people's rights, and and we all do it to a certain degree. But I guess where is the line? Because it keeps getting pushed. On how far the people can be stepped on.
Taiwan does have a huge advantage, though. It's the top manufacturer of super processors, and China is trying to figure out, and the U.S. is trying to figure out how they do it. But they have all these huge factories, and they have the best computer scientists in the world, and they produce the most super processors for all the major computers,
computer companies,
that
Mac,
Intel, all that
Intel.
shit. And also, these are the processors that are used in like nuclear power plants and like
are used in
high-level
fucking
government and
guidance
science
missile systems.
places. Yeah, these are the processors that literally run our entire defense and our entire infrastructure at this point.
Right, so it's probably a good idea to keep them happy.
So
Exactly.
the point is,
100%.
Taiwan has just like in wars past, where you try to attack a place that has a commodity that you want. That no one. I'll give you an example. In the Renaissance period, Italy was famous for being able to make glass, and they were the top producer of this glass.
Sure.
And for a long time, a lot of countries like France and Britain wanted the glass too. And there were times where they would go to war with Italy, and one of the things they were trying to take was glass, but they were so closed, like Venice, for example, one of the top cities for glass, and they were so closed-mouthed that for a long time they get their hands on, or like China with silk. China for a long time had a fucking huge monopoly on trade for the entire world, because the silk trade would end literally because silk was one of the most valuable things.
Yeah,
that's why it's called the Silk Road, because it was so valuable.
Like you were killed if you tried to sneak the secret of making silk out of China.
Oh, I heard like you were killed immediately.
Yeah,
well, and that's where it becomes an issue of technology these days. Is so prevalent everywhere.
Sabotage, man.
Well, I think that what ends up happening is that it's really hard to get rid of somebody. I mean, it's not impossible, and there's a lot of ways to do it.
It's a lot harder. People ask a lot more questions.
Exactly.
And then the other thing is, it's
two or three videos of something going down creates a lot of doubt.
And the other thing is, it's way easier to fucking get secrets out now.
Exactly. Because people aren't as tight-lipped as they used to be either, especially with the information the way it's displayed.
Information age.
You can find out just about where anybody lives if you just look on their Facebook. It's ridiculous.
And now you have guys that like Edward Snowden, or even who leaked all that information.
I don't know why you said Edward Snowden, and I immediately went to Edward Scissorhands. I was like, yep, Johnny Depp, he fucking did it. He leaked secrets with his scissor hands.
Wait, Edward Scissorhands Snowden?
Snowden Scissorhands?
Snowden Scissorhands. That would be the episode name right there. What do you think? Snowden Scissorhands. Edward Snowden Scissorhands.
We're getting all political.
I know. But anyways, back to the local news. We just went on a whole global diatribe.
Do it.
But it's been cooler this week, according to
Thank fucking God. You're right.
I agree. According to the news,
I got burned to death, and then I got sick.
Yeah, and I was just getting cooked like a fucking muffin in the metal shop all week.
Cooked like an egg on the sidewalk, but the sidewalk is literally on the sun.
Might as well be walking
I had
on
just
the sun.
finished healing from the fucking sunburns I had gotten when we went fishing together.
Oh, that's
And then I went to a Ren Fair in fucking Silverdale.
What was the Ren Fair like?
Yeah, talk about that.
That was fucking awesome, man. We
went chicks with tits out.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things about the Ren Fair is like they wear the what is it? The corsets.
Yeah.
Push their tits right up under their chin.
Fucking. We went and saw the joust, and one of the knights was the fucking, swear to God, prettiest girl I've ever seen.
The Black Knight. Was she black?
She was not.
Ah, damn it.
Did have really gorgeous black hair though.
Awesome.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, man, that's a chick that like it's hard to go up and talk to her after a joust. You know? She hops off the horse and she's like taking off some of her armor, and you're like, "Hey, you like pizza?" She's like, "What?"
So I see you're good at handling big, hard wooden shafts. I got one.
Work on that. I think there's something there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying. Hey,
I just saw you beat the shit out of a dude. How you doing?
Yeah. I really like the way you laid that guy off of his horse. You know?
I have a weapon you could swing around if you if we want to meet later and have some meat over and go visit the local apothecary and then have some roasted grouse.
She's like, dude.
Renaissance fucking.
Well, she's
Renaissance
like,
stage jokes. Let's go.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm not fucking on work right now. I want to get lunch. Shut up.
You know, we've had this Black Plague going on. I'm getting tired of it. You know, it's.
I always think of the girl, Janine Garofalo from Cable Guy. That's a Big J. Ogerson thing too. He always reminds me of from Cable Guy, where like Jim Carrey's character, he's like, "Oh, douse the lady," you know, and what? Yeah,
it just says
Trevor's pointing to the
I'm pointing to the weather thing.
Temperature, and he's like, "It's hot during the summer." Who would have guessed? And I was like, "Yeah, obviously."
No, I'm sorry, Rob. It's the 5-day forecast. It's like 83 for today, Friday 87, Saturday 6, and then Sunday just says hot, and it's just a big bubble. It just says hot.
Yeah. Well, what did you expect it to say? Actually, it's gonna cool down.
That'd be amazing. So yeah, it's hot.
Trevor's all about the temperature.
And
he's a human thermometer, folks, just with no mercury.
I mean,
well,
my finger can feel.
Hopefully, no mercury.
Yeah, hopefully not. I'm already crazy enough.
He's a Mad Hatter.
So, let me talk about some event I went to last Saturday with Sage's brother Michael. I went to the Oregon Asian Festival here
What's up, Asian festivals?
It was awesome, by the way. And it was.
Did you have any Chinese food?
I had some Indonesian food.
Okay.
Because it had all types. It was like you had Indian stuff. You had Filipino stuff. You had some Indonesian food. They had
Vietnamese.
Yeah, they had a Chinese martial artist demonstration where they would use the curved swords. They did demonstrations with that. They had a chick swinging there. They had a guy using the traditional Chinese spear. They had guys. They're also practicing kung fu, but they also had people playing Kyoto. There's older lady playing Kyoto, which is really cool. And they had an older group that was playing Gaisum. It was the name of the band where traditional Japanese tea houses, they would have a band that would play background music.
All I'm thinking about is a bunch of geishas, man. A bunch of hot geishas rolling around, offering hand jobs.
$5, make you hot.
Thank you.
Anyways, but it was fun. The music was cool. There was not too many hot chicks because it was
a dick fest.
No, it was actually mainly families. It was families.
There was no hot kids running around, Trevor. I know you're into kids.
I don't diddle kids. I'm like Frank over here. I don't diddle kids.
I don't diddle kids.
Kids make a song diddle kids.
Like them big, not really sure.
Frank, if you make a song diddling kids, they're really going to think you diddle kids.
No, that's the whole thing behind it.
No, I'm not a minor attracted person. I'm not a map. All right.
Well, what if they're really hot, Trevor?
I'm going for the grandma over the fucking 7-year-old.
I'm going for the mom because the mom's probably financially stable.
Actually, you know what? That's
I like the financial stability of a woman.
I'm going for the grandma because she's probably had some funny stories and she's experienced.
Trevor's robbing the old folks home and shit. He's like, dude, isn't that
so? She might have an STD older than I am, but still.
Isn't that such a thing though? Where
I was getting
where I'm sorry. Some dude rolls into a nursing home and he starts dating
what up,
chick,
ladies?
and then everybody gets word that he's a real good guy or whatever, and then she dies, and then he starts dating the other old lady. He starts taking all her money and shit.
Hell yeah, I'm sure it's
got to be a movie somewhere.
Bad Grandpa, the whole thing with Johnny Knoxville, where he would pretend to be an old guy and went to the mingle parlor and just hit on old bitches. One chick's like, I have an STD that's 50 years old or some shit. And he's like, damn, that's hot.
That's something that they don't talk about a lot, is that STDs break out tons of times a year in fucking old folks' homes.
Yes.
There's just outbreaks of
folks,
STDs because they have nothing else to do. There's little cliques in old folks' homes where there's the cool kids. And so you have.
It's just a much, much, much older version of high school.
Yes, 100%. Yes. Because I used to go. My aunt had a condo when my grandmother died. My aunt got the condo that my grandmother was living in because she didn't have a place at the time. And they had a giant ass pool, and I'd been going there since I was a kid, so it was actually just kind of cool. It was my aunt was at a retirement place, mad quiet, but they had a giant pool, and I remember going by the pool all the time to swim. Sometimes they'd have the grand daughters there, and they were my age. I was like, all right, this is cool. But I always noticed that there was just a line of old women, the same 5 or so. And you could just hear them when you walked by them. They talked shit about every fucking person in that place.
Oh, yeah.
And it's they knew them all, too. It's so weird.
What is this, prison?
Yeah.
Oh, this motherfucker don't chew his bread correctly and he shits too much in the morning. Damn.
And it just goes to show, no matter how old you get, people are still fucking kids. They're all just, adolescents and fucking, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think you're too good to not talk shit about somebody around a pool when you're 80.
So when you get old, talk shit and then use the excuse that you're losing your mind.
Exactly. You play it off.
Use that as your fucking excuse. I've been.
Old people must get away with so much because they're about to die.
It's true.
Places.
It's true. 100%.
Fuck yeah.
I remember
he's gonna be dead in a couple of years. Why are we gonna put him in jail? I'm just gonna waste my money.
I remember being at Walgreens one time. And this old man with a fucking Korea war veteran hat was sitting in those little scooters, and this lady who was working there was like, "Sir, the toothpaste is here." And this old man immediately knocks all the toothpaste down. He's like, "I didn't fucking shoot these motherfuckers for this bullshit. Fuck you!" And he started ramming his cart into the fucking aisle of the toothpaste and knocking shit off. And I'm just watching this Of course, I was drunk. Just watching this. I'm like, what is happening? This old man is just like, fuck all of you. And he's like waving his hat around and crashing his cart into the aisle, knocking fucking toothpaste and like general like bathroom supplies onto the floor. And I was like, man, old people get in the way of some crazy shit, because if like you or I, someone our age did that shit, they would be calling cops immediately. Cops. Immediately. But this guy then casually rolled out and just talked shit to everyone.
I used to work.
I think me too. He just like started flipping people off. I'm like, damn. Damn, this is being old, man. I've been through some shit. Fuck you.
So I worked at this grocery store back when I was in Florida, and I was like a cashier / stock person. And I originally started out as a stock person and then went to cashiering because the stocking sucked. But I remember this one couple, because they would always be coming up and down the aisles, and the woman was a bitch, and she would yell at her husband and like just berate him. And
he'd be drinking outside when she isn't around.
It was like she was like 75 and he was maybe like 80. Like, so they were an old couple, and you could tell they'd been together a long time.
He's thought about suicide a few times.
So fucking mean to everybody in the store, and so fucking mean to this dude. And the craziest part was I remember just one day, like, she was being just ridiculous, and I wanted to kick her out of the store. I was like, Miss, you can't fucking talk to people that way. That is terrible. And my manager was like, I'm not gonna do it. It's, she's an old woman. Fuck that. And I just asked the husband. I was like, dude, how do you deal with her? Like, she was busy talking shit to somebody. I'm good.
What did he say?
He goes, man, I don't listen to her. And he's just like, he's been dealing with it for so long, he's just tuned her the fuck out. Which is hilarious to me, because I'm like, well, maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe one day I'll just be able to ignore women and all their dumb shit they do.
I've had a couple of old men that I work with where I've asked them for life advice. Like, these are guys who have been married for 30 plus years. And I've asked them just because these are pretty good, funny old dudes that are wise.
Got some advice?
Yeah.
Life lessons?
So I got a couple answers. Like, one of them, the old man that's the owner, named John. He's been married. He said 2 marriages.
Big John.
That's a good song. But the last marriage was like 30 plus years. So long enough he knows. And I was like, what's the secret to marriage? He said, I remember he was like, boy, I'll tell you what you got to do is you got to
kill.
He's a good
Let
old
me
boy.
tell you what.
No, that's how he talks.
That's how Hank Hill talks too.
Yeah, he's a good old boy from Oregon. But he's like, well, I'll tell you
Never
what.
meaning no harm.
Let me finish. Goddamn.
Been in trouble with the law since the day he was born.
Were the Duke boys? I already know. I grew up with that show, man. He was madder than a bobcat pulled by his whiskers on a hot August day. What the fuck?
I guess them boys are gonna be cooning later.
Oh, them Duke boys are in it now. But anyways.
Was the Duke boys racist at all?
I don't know.
They didn't have a lot of black people.
They had a few that would be out of towners. They'd always call them like, oh, you see Tyrone over here. He's from the city. I'm like, oh shit.
You know, of course, call on Tyrone.
At least they didn't call him something Jim.
Yeah.
By the way, that was the whole joke.
N-word Jim.
So that was another joke. The whole thing about how the whole Mark Twain thing with like Huck Finn and how that's now controversial.
Trevor's scared to say the N-word, folks.
I don't like saying it.
He doesn't like saying it.
I don't like saying it. But
I've gotten to say it so much in my life, and you want to know why? Because I grew up in the South. And when you grow up in the South, you get called cracker a lot.
I was called cracker on the West Coast.
Eventually, what ends up happening is you fucking lash back, motherfucker. But it was funny because at my school, it was disproportionate, basically. There were enough white kids in my elementary school, for sure. But then you went to middle school and high school, and the white kids were the minority. Yeah. So you got called little cracker and honky a ton.
I do agree that racism does go both ways.
It
like,
does both
white
ways.
People
if you feel
do
bad
terrible
about
shit.
It, you're racist.
But other people also do terrible shit to people that are also
Everybody's
Caucasian.
everybody.
Unfortunately, yes.
But
it is a two-way street.
Life lessons to live by, folks.
How is it
be nice to your neighbors?
To be here for the most political episodes.
I don't know. Be nice to your neighbors and don't fucking trust all these motherfuckers that are trying to sell you shit constantly. The people that are around you, keep them close. So black, white, in between, polka dot. I don't give a fuck if they're good people. You keep them by.
Yeah, good people are good people, and bad people are bad people,
And
regardless
regardless
of their background.
You'll always know the difference. Yeah. Maybe not immediately, but
if you get to know them enough. Psst. Also, we have our Ninja Kitty. That's Ferrari. She's
old Ninja Cat.
She's up to no good.
She's always breaking laws and breaking backs.
Breaking the law.
Oh man!
By the way. That is on my list. Something I want to get into because I did the news thing.
Jethro Tull? No.
The rock and roll list. So,
all right, folks, we're gonna go over the top 10 classic rock or greatest rock groups that we think kind of portray the American rock genre.
So we're doing classic rock. So we're defining it as the 1960s.
You're talking your AC/DC.
Can I finish?
Can I finish?
No, I'm sorry. Just because you're Captain America, you think you're super cool. Anyways,
I'm just talking, man.
So classic
Shut
rock.
Shut up, Chris. I'm talking.
You're pretty sassy for a guy in his underwear, bud.
I'm not in my underwear. I got shorts on.
You've upgraded.
Well,
good job.
We have company.
Thank God. All right.
I don't wear shirts or socks, but I'll put shorts on for folks.
Anyways, so classic rock we're defining as 1960s, 70s, and like the early part of 80s. Because by the 80s you had
metal came in.
Because by the 80s, metal and punk and all these other new wave and other genres were coming in.
Punk.
But the 60s and 70s especially, it was still a majority of just classic rock, and then it broke. So
like
we're gonna talk about this.
Elvis, but before fucking Bowie.
We could actually at some point we could do a proto rock list, like rockabilly. We could in the future, like 50s.
We'll get into it once we get past a few more lists.
So it'd be like Chuck Berry, like Elvis, Johnny Cash.
Trevor is so excited for this one, guys.
I'm fucking excited. So we're gonna do the U.S. first.
No Pearl Jam.
No. No. Don't call me, daughter. Don't call me. No, I'm not doing that.
Sleeping on a pillow.
Roll me the concrete. Blah, 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 blah. I touched the pancake.
I listened to Pearl Jam today at work. It was good. It was good.
Even fall.
They got some songs, man. I forget how good Pearl Jam is until you listen to a whole CD.
Yes, I would prefer Soundgarden. If someone pointed a gun to my head and they're like, Pearl Jam or Soundgarden, like, I'm picking Soundgarden every day.
They're like, wrong answer. It's Eddie Vedder.
I guess I'm getting death by Vedder then.
Death by Vedder.
A Vedderdetta? I don't know.
Vendetta?
A Vedderdetta? I don't know. So anyways, we're doing the U.S. first. Sorry, Britain. We know you like to be like, oh, we the British wave. The U.S. did it first.
Trevor, you already established that.
Fucking laying down the law.
He wants to spit in a British person's face. Any hot chicks that need spit in their face?
Look, give me some fish and chips, fix your teeth, and bring me all your birds. Let's go.
That's a very American thing of you to say, Trevor.
I know, that's why I said it. Let's fucking go.
This is America.
God damn it. So we have a list here. I wrote out some bands. Oh, here we go. So we're going to do top 10. I also have an honorable mention, so I'll go through my list, and then you guys can go through.
We can
comment, chirping.
Yeah.
So on the list here, I have, for example, the first one. I have ZZ Top.
Of course.
So they were a blues rock band.
Yep.
Just like the Stones and a lot of other rock bands that had a lot of heavy blues, American blues, and other southern music sort of influences.
You know that every girl goes crazy about a sharp-dressed man.
Hey. Cheap sunglasses, bud.
There you
Cheap
go.
sunglasses.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely agree with ZZ Top and specifically.
They're not necessarily ascending order. I'm just throwing them out.
Well, no.
I'm not ranking them 1 through 10. They're just 10.
Okay. What I'm saying is that ZZ Top is just one of those groups.
You agree with ZZ Top being on there?
The hits, you could play them today,
so
and
many.
they still hit. You know, ZZ Top are hard to fucking knock, and some of the best live performances I've ever heard of.
Oh yeah,
you know, so
amazing.
Even into their
They even played at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Even into their older age, they kept rocking and they kept rolling, and
they're the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They started.
I like it.
These guys started playing in the 60s. I guess Billy Gibbons actually got to play with Hendrix at a blues club way back in the 60s. But
can we talk about how
they started in the early 70s? They started in the early 70s, the 70s and 80s.
Can we talk about how crazy it is that it was two brothers with giant beards and then a dude that played drums named Frank Beard?
Tony Beard.
Tony Beard, yeah.
Beard.
Isn't that nuts, though?
Yeah. You had Dusty Hill Gibbons, who was the bass player who just died. Rest in peace.
Dusty Hill.
Great fucking bass player. And then Billy Gibbons was one of my favorite guitarists of all times. Phenomenal blues rock guitarist.
They did a King of the Hill episode where Dusty Hill was Hank Hill's like long lost cousin, basically, and he came into
Texas.
town.
I mean, they're the gods of
And he
Texas.
came
Before
into town,
Pantera,
like,
there was
showed
Easy
Hank
Top.
up because he's so cool and a rock star, and then he never knew that like Hank thought of him that way, and he always was like, "No, Hank, I like your life. I always wanted to sell propane and propane accessories." He's like, "Really?" And he's like, "No."
It's one of the
But you're my
greatest
cousin,
records.
and I still love you. You know, that was a good episode. But yeah, Dusty Hill, fucking ZZ Top, amazing group.
So next one I have on here, Clearance Clearwater Revival, also known as CCR.
Yeah.
CCR is awesome.
So I grew up definitely hearing CCR, and I definitely as a guitarist, John Fogerty had he definitely was big at mixing blues, but also a lot of folk and a lot of country. He mixed a lot of genres together and it's crazy because like Born to Buy, like you think they were from like somewhere in Louisiana. They actually were from the Bay Area, but they were from the outskirts.
And it's crazy about CCR.
They were from the San Francisco, Oakland area, but there was a lot of rednecks. Because of being from Northern California myself, there was a lot of rednecks that moved from other parts of the country that settled in the Northern California area. So there was still a lot of country music in California.
And it's nuts about CCR is that they're one of those groups that they are so multi-talented in so many different genres. Like Trevor said, they incorporate a lot of folk and heavier rock and
blues and country and all kinds of shit.
But like you'd never really think of it how they do it because it flows so well in all their music. And I think that's how really great groups perform and they make music.
Yeah.
Is it doesn't even sound like they're adding in anything new or it's just kind of they have this undefined sound, but it's just a little bit of it all,
Especially the magic of like classic rock is they were definitely, because now you have like punk and metal and the other things, but classic rock at the time they were drawing for a lot of older music genres that had come before rock. So
and
you had
something
like
I love about
jazz and Latin music and
something I love
blues and
about,
country
like,
and folk and
rock
all these
from
other
this
things.
era is that a lot of these groups and bands they all
Jazz.
really had to play their instruments well. So it took a bunch of different people that all knew different instruments.
They were already trained instruments. A lot of them already could read sheet music. There were some guys that were classically trained, and then they're like, all right, we're going to throw this all together in this American sound called rock and roll.
Yep.
And then just went from there.
I like it, Trevor. All right, who else do we have?
So we also got Foreigner.
Yeah, Foreigner's all right. They got some hits. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Foreigner's up for debate.
right.
What do you got? What do you got to back up Foreigner?
They had a lot of hits in the 70s and 80s. They had some really good guitar playing. They were pretty good. I mean,
you can say the same about Journey, man.
I can't stand Journey, though.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem.
fucking hate
Is that Journey was one of the best fucking selling groups. They were like Aerosmith.
Foreigner did pretty good, though, too.
Yeah.
Foreigner did pretty
I
good.
definitely have a higher opinion of Aerosmith.
Well, I got a higher opinion of Aerosmith and fucking Journey than Foreigner.
I can always put in other bands, and we can figure it out.
I'm going with Journey for this one. I'll pick Journey over
right.
Foreigner.
I love you, Chris, but go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, bro.
I know.
Trevor's just pissed off because he hates radio play. And what radio play does is it murders really good songs.
Foreigner did get played a lot, but I do like them. I definitely grew up hearing them, and I don't mind them. So we can figure that out later.
Trevor's so sad right now. We just shit on Foreigner a little bit.
So if you have a problem, number 4, you got problems. Chris,
You got a problem.
you're from the South, so I know you're not going to say no to
George
this.
Thorogood.
Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, of course. Skinner.
Fuck yeah.
If you said no to Leonard Skinner, it'd be like...
Why would I say no to
It'd be
Leonard
like
Skinner?
me saying, oh, guitar is stupid. That's,
Right, like-
yeah.
Trevor just said it. Ooh, he just said it.
No,
Ooh.
kidding. Guitars. I didn't mean
It's
it.
on record.
I didn't mean
Everybody
it, guitars.
knows it.
I didn't mean it.
He'll never be able
Oh,
to
they're
play
gonna
you
be mad.
again.
They're gonna be mad at me.
He's looking at his
I
guitar.
was kidding. They're like my wives. Like I've married.
This is why we
2
need
wives.
video, because the video element would help so much. We're gonna get a camera soon, folks. Don't
Also,
worry.
I'm also
You'll get to
wearing
see me
the.
in my
I'm
non-shirt.
also wearing the Japanese headband from the Asian festival. Like
He's
when I
turning
run-
Japanese. I think he's turning Japanese.
That's
I really
already an
think
episode.
so.
We did an episode of Matt actually. We did that one. Already did that episode. But anyways, going on. So Leonard Skinner, they've been around since the '60s. It was named after a PE coach that gave him shit for having long hair.
Yeah, Mr. Skinner.
Yep. And
I didn't know that.
they were another great band that fused blues and folk music and country. They're from the South, originally from Florida, but then they
From Jacksonville,
Yes.
Georgia line, basically.
and then they moved over.
Yeah,
Obviously
Skinner-
Alabama and shit.
Skinner
but-
had such a big impact in the South because of their
Huge.
their
Huge.
Confederate flag and shit like that.
But they were guys from the South.
But it was one of those things as well. Like, it didn't matter where you were from, man. Everybody loved Leonard Skinner. You know,
Yeah.
north, south, east, west, across the
I
fucking
mean, you'd be hard
country.
pressed to find someone that didn't at least know one Leonard Skinner song and like.
I mean, Freebird is one of the craziest songs ever written. Well,
the solos in
performed.
that is nuts because
Oh,
there's three guitarists and they're Iron Maiden was a band that actually was influenced because they were one of the first big rock bands to have 3 guitarists that would have solos where they're like guys doing a melody, another guy's doing a harmony, and then another guy's can do like weird, like some weird pitch harmonic shit in the background and like weird stuff. So yeah, they definitely helped move rock and roll forward, I would say. And Chris is checking on stuff in his room. So, any last thoughts on Leonard Skinner for you?
I mean, I think definitely it's a solid spot for number 4.
Oh yeah, and it's not ascending or descending order, folks. I'm
Right.
just
No,
throwing
I
it out
understand.
there.
If I had to put it in,
I couldn't rank them.
If I had to put it in a rank, though, Skinner would probably be at least top 3.
Oh yeah,
Skinner would definitely.
You're
be
also
top
from the
3.
South, so
Yeah, but Skinner's just way better than a lot of groups.
They are. So another group I have on here is the Doors.
Doors are pretty
gonna
dope.
be
I
on
like
my
the
list.
Doors. They have some good stuff.
They definitely
They
are to
definitely-
LA and California what Leonard Skinner was to the South. The Doors were huge, especially in the West Coast.
And the Doors had so many cool songs that, like, just well sung, well played, performed.
What was interesting is they used a lot of organ. The guitarist, who's really good, he also was classically trained, so he did a lot of Spanish guitar playing
Yeah.
that he
Oh,
mixed,
yeah?
which I like. Yeah. So Robbie Kruger, right? I like him.
There you go.
He did a lot of classical stuff, but then he also mixed it with blues and country, more American. But they definitely went a route of like using a lot more keyboards and like Spanish and other
Yeah,
influences.
the Doors are pretty cool. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
I like the Doors.
Did a lot of drugs, did a lot of crazy shit. They had some good hits. Another one I have for me personally, Steppenwolf.
I
don't
like
know.
them. I don't know if they're in my top 10.
I'll swap out Steppenwolf for Aerosmith.
That's your opinion. I would have Steppenwolf over Aerosmith every single day. The term heavy metal literally came from
yeah.
Steppenwolf. Like they
But
were.
that's what you're looking for. You're looking for heavy metal. I'm looking for classic 70s
This is
to
no
80s.
60s, 70s. Like Steppenwolf
Yeah, but
was
you-
classic.
They
They helped
precursor.
They helped definitely influence Aerosmith. Like Steppenwolf was one of those bands like the 60s and 70s, the height of the Vietnam War. They definitely helped push the rock and roll
Trevor's
sound.
always trying to go to the fucking source of the good sound.
Yeah, because that's what you're supposed to do. So
No,
Steppenwolf.
man, I just listen to the
Yeah.
music and vibe, baby.
By the way, Aerosmith not on that list.
Of course,
Deal with
because
it.
Trevor doesn't like them.
They have a few good songs, but they're
Trevor's
so
like,
overrated.
I don't care what other people think.
Fuck them.
I know I'm better.
I think I would put Aerosmith where you put the 4.
There you
go.
Okay, that's your opinion. They do have some good songs. They are good musicians.
Steven Tyler's fucking hilarious.
Yes. And then the guitarist is good. So for number 7 here, I got the
I thought you
Ventures.
didn't number them.
I just listing them. They're not
Yeah,
ranked. They're not ranked.
ranked.
So another one I have then is the Ventures.
The Ventures. Yeah.
The Ventures were a big surf band, and if you've played guitar, that's one of those bands you have to learn because they were big. And so they walked and run. They did the theme song for Hawaii 5-0.
Where's AC/DC at, man?
That's the world list, bud.
That's the world list.
That's the world list.
Yes.
They also did Batman. No, 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 no. That's them too. Like they did a lot of sitcoms, but they did a lot of Walk and Run. They did countless surf songs that are still played and listened to today. They were influential. Like they're up there with Dick Dale. I don't have Dick Dale on this, but shout out to Dick Dale and the Deltones. Surf music was definitely an early version of rock and roll because surf music, like you had rockabilly in the 50s, and then right after that, like 59 to the early 60s, you had surf rock, and then the British invasion came and changed everything. But this was like right before the British invasion, like right before 63, 64, when like Stones and Beatles and those bands just steamrolled everything. Right before that, Ventures is one of those big bands, and they're from the Seattle area. They're one of those Northwest bands.
Yeah, right. Once we get to our
what about Boston, man?
I like Boston.
Boston's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll do a shout out to them. I really like Boston.
That's like an honorable mention.
I actually really like Boston.
Or like Kansas, man. Kansas and Boston both fucking rip.
No, they're both good bands.
Turns out if you name a band after a town or a state, it's gonna be good.
All right, fun fact. That era, classic rock, Chicago, Boston,
Kansas. Fucking, a lot of really great.
There's other ones out there.
And they all have like, not similar sounds, because they're all a little different, but they have this...
The general rock sound.
But there are certain songs that they did,
it
like
sticks.
fucking 9 to 5 and shit.
Yeah.
That's an amazing Chicago song.
I've seen the documentary on the guitar player, Terry, I don't remember his name. But he was a brilliant dude, badass guitarist.
So maybe they don't make the top
honorable
list,
mention,
but definitely all three of those super big.
Yeah.
Like Boston's amazing.
The problem I have is there are so many bands I like, I couldn't fit them all on here.
But that's what I'm saying is like
Boston's one of those the guitar playing in Boston.
Maybe we couldn't put them in top 10, but they are definitely
15,
like
20,
top
100%.
15, yeah, 20.
I really like Boston. Just these are the bands I kind of thought of because I did during one of my breaks. That's the UK list.
UK, yeah.
So I know Chris just keeps chucking names out there, but
I'm thinking right now.
So another one I have on here, one that's actually kind of I'm not completely certain on. It's kind of a weird quagmire, like a weird in between. Jimi Hendrix, because even though he's American and started playing in he started playing the Soul Tour.
We'll claim Hendrix.
I would hope
Hendrix.
So he's from Seattle. I've been to the museum actually.
Was he born in America?
Yeah, he's from Seattle.
But
I've actually been to the
American.
museum. And he performed he was actually a background singer for like James Brown and
was he a
Little Richard
singer,
and shit.
Was he a backup?
He was a backup guitarist, like Little Richard Hendrix. Yeah, he's a background guitarist for
kept saying singer.
I know.
I was like, what?
My bad.
Jimi Hendrix sung. I want to hear that.
Well, he did, but when he went solo
later.
But like for Little Richard and James Brown, like he's part of that whole like Southern Soul Chitlin tour. He was a background guitarist. But there was a quote from like Little Richard's like, yeah, he was too good. We couldn't keep him down. So he went. So Hendrix went. He was in the army. He was a paratrooper, but he broke his arm and got medically discharged right before Vietnam. And if he had been in Vietnam, he probably would have died because he would have been
so many
thrown in the shit.
That like, if they would have went to Nam, oh fuck, that would
you wouldn't have had Hendrix if he had went to Nam.
Well, you don't know. You probably wouldn't have had the same Hendrix.
It wouldn't have been the same. But the reason why it's a bit of a gray area is because he got big in Britain, and the other two guys who are also really good musicians are British guys.
But I think that what ends up happening a lot of the times is that the group. And that's what people forget about
Jimi Hendrix experience. Because it's him and two really good
English
that were really good. Two English guys.
Yeah. And that's
really
what
good
was
bass player
crazy
and a
about
drummer.
Hendrix is like he was so good solo, but like with his group he was way better. Yeah.
So that's why it's great because he's American, but his band is British,
we'll
and he got big in Britain before. Britain has so many bands.
That's why it's going to be a little bit more. Yeah. We'll have to narrow that down a little bit.
Sorry, Britain. We're taking Jimmy.
What? Fuck Britain.
Another guy that had Slash alternate if Hendrix didn't work out is Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, I love.
Oh, yeah.
Stevie Vaughan, another blues rock guitarist that he definitely, I feel like, carried the torch from Jimi Hendrix as far as like blues shredding. Like that guy definitely pushed the limits. He also did a lot of cocaine too, which which probably helped.
When,
I mean,
A lot of alcohol, and a lot of cocaine. The guy was crazy, but he was so good.
What about George Thorogood? Because
Honorable mention.
He's on
Honorable
the line.
mention.
Yeah, he's definitely an
Honorable
honorable
mention.
mention.
And a lot of the stuff he took were covers. Like,
you're
like
not wrong.
what, like one bourbon, one scotch, one beer is a John Lee Hooker, and then cover, and he did
Who do you love?
Who Do You Love, or like the dog song where it's like Old Dog Moving In. That's a cover of Bo Diddley. So he covered a lot, but he definitely added the whole rock sound to it.
Definitely.
But a big difference is
He was like a country rocker kind of.
the American rock took so heavy from country and blues, which if you want to break it down, all blues is it's the black version of country. Country was like the rural white guys playing it. Yep. Blues was the black guys playing pretty much the same thing.
Instead of being in the hills, man, they were in the plantations in the south and shit.
They were playing the same tunings, playing the same scales, and pretty similar. But
that's a good list.
Another list on here I had to put down because they helped influence so much shit. I have Ramones on here.
Ramones are good.
I definitely agree there.
Because
Ramones are good. I don't know top 10 good, but they're top 15 for me.
I have them, if anything, because they helped. They helped push punk.
Shirt.
Yeah, but they also helped push punk. Like, they were one of the first American bands that are like, okay, this band helped influence punk. Just like Black Sabbath will be in the UK list. Black Sabbath helped push metal. Yeah, like, without this band, even though there were bands that did it before them, like, whole shout out to like Iggy Pop and the Stooges, who was like, who was from Michigan, or like MC5, also from the Michigan area.
Iggy Pop wasn't like, it wasn't
the
ridiculous.
Ramones are one of the first bands who are like, oh, this is rock and roll, it's becoming punk.
And this is what it's
like
gonna do.
It's one of the first moments where it's like, that is definitely punk rock.
And to be able to see
that's why I'm only putting
in music, it's very interesting because a lot of groups, they don't transition into another sound well. You know what I mean?
It's one of those bands that helped start an entire sound. I mean, it was already started, but they helped commercialize and push it. Just like Black Sabbath with metal. Like, Ramones, one of those bands. They helped punk rock. They helped make rock and roll, and then pushed rock and roll to punk rock.
All right, we'll give it up. Trevor Ramones.
Yeah. And then I have, for another band here, this one might be a little contestable, but at this point, they're a rock and roll band now. They started out like more metal, but at this point, they're pretty much rock and roll now. And I think that I think they're kind of to metal what Ramones were to punk. I have Metallica on here.
Yeah, Metallica's pretty dope.
Because
they've been around for a long time.
I'll argue with it.
They're old enough. They started in '81, and they were actually a punk cover band. Some of the first things they did were Misfit cover songs.
Fuck yeah.
And then they decided, like, oh, we also play really fast. And they helped do the whole thrash thing. But then once they got big, they started throwing a lot of Spanish influence stuff. So that's when you had, like, Fade to Black and Master Puppets. So then they are throwing a lot of other things. Like, super talented. I just grew up hearing them so much, a lot of their stuff got murdered to me.
Is Carlos Santana born in America?
He's actually
Mexico?
He's actually the next one on the list.
Fuck
I was about to say, Carlos Santana's fucking.
He's actually on the next one. It's funny you said that. I feel like you cheated and looked at my list, but he's next.
No, I didn't.
No, he's literally, look at my list. Metallica,
awesome.
Santana, right there.
Fuck
yeah. Santana, he was just one of those guitar players that, even with like when he was playing with Jimmy at fucking Woodstock.
Yeah.
That was so crazy.
Yeah, he followed up Hendrix doing that legendary anthem, and then immediately was Santana getting everyone up and going. But yeah, he's the other person I have. Santana was definitely a guy that he was Mexican American, but he's born in the U.S.
Yeah,
I think he's from the L.A. area. He's
definitely,
but he definitely took a lot of. I mean, ZZ Top took a tiny amount of Tex-Mex influence, but Carlos Santana took a lot of
the Latin vibe.
Latin. He knew a lot of Spanish guitar, so he's one of the first guys to take Spanish guitar and mix it with blues and country, and then put on electric guitar.
Hell yeah!
And he actually started playing in the '50s, but he got big in the '60s.
Yeah, Carlos Santana's the man.
No, he's a legend. He is the Latin music, well, like Hendrix was.
And just having great musicians during that era projected so many more better musicians, because what having a really cool person does is it makes other people want to be like them.
Oh yeah.
So just having people like Jimmy and Carlos and all those kind of people to look up to, a lot of guitarists, you know, they wouldn't be who they are today if they didn't have fucking certain people.
All right. So
yeah, it was good.
Well, next episode we'll do the UK list, and then after that we'll do the world list,
I love
and then
it.
after that in the future maybe do like a proto rock list or something, and then maybe we could do punk metal. We'll figure out.
Trevor's loving this.
Fuck yeah, he told me. I'm like,
He's getting it all wet, man. He's getting it all wet over here.
I'm super jacked this episode.
Good job.
So let me do my album review real quick.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a slightly longer episode, folks, but we've been off the air for a week and a half.
It's okay.
A little longer, it's fine. So I have in the spirit of the Asian festival.
Remember, we're not gonna do any music. Remember?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I have the band called the Yoshido Brothers, and they're two brothers from Japan that grew up playing classical Japanese music.
They have a strong bond.
But they happen to both play shiroshims, which are 3-string traditional Japanese like banjo instruments. And they play at top level. Like they're some of the best technical shiroshim players out there. But what's awesome about them is they also mix in a lot of. They've been mixing in like hip hop and like R&B and electronica and even like metal. They've played with metal bands and like the orchestra, and they're really good at mixing a lot of things, but they also keep to their traditional roots. So if I have an album to recommend, it's the Yoshida Brothers, the artist. The album is called Ibuki, Ibuki. I don't know what it means, but it's cool. And then the song Ibuki. The whole album though is good. And it's they do a lot of they also do like songs to traditional Japanese poems, which is really cool. So I like that, and they have just really good chill music. So I highly recommend Yoshida Brothers.
If you guys could see Trevor right now, he has a fucking band across his head.
I never got to totally talk about
like
this.
Like he's fucking
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid over here.
At the Asian festival, Michael and I, Sage's brother, we went to a booth. And we were talking, and then I like walked away, and I saw Michael getting this headband put on. I was like, oh, I'd like one. So they put in Japanese characters. They wrote our names out, and they put them on us, and it was pretty awesome.
They charged him $10.
No, nothing. And the Japanese guy was super excited when he put it on. Like he was like, yeah, like he was super. He was super
what they
excited.
don't know is that the characters that he has written on his head are dickheads.
Actually, I know that's not true. Do you want to know how I know? Because I walked over to the Kyoto player, who's an old Japanese lady. She pointed at my head and said, "Your name must be Trevor," and read it right off my head.
Whoa!
So I was like, all right. So I'm glad you didn't put butthole on it. He actually put Trevor. So that's how that was the proof I needed, because
cool stuff.
So yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm rocking a headband. I like it. And
I think it's fucking Japanese, folks.
I hope my grandparents don't get too mad. Both my grandpas fought against the Japanese in the Pacific Theater. Sorry, grandpas.
It happens. Sometimes you gotta fight against people.
Times have changed. Do you have a movie review real quick?
I did not have a movie review this time around. I've been sick, folks. I'm sorry I don't have a movie review.
Do you have an episode? Law and Order again, or do you have some other show?
I've been talking some Law and Order here lately.
How about the Chris Hansen one? Watching Chris Hansen catch a predator, anything like that? Any other shows?
There was a Law and Order episode. That's how I know I'm getting old, guys. Is that I come home and I'm so excited to eat dinner and watch Law and Order in bed.
He's all about that Dick Wolf.
Yeah, Dick Wolf's
executive producer Dick Wolf.
Yeah.
There's an episode I watched last night about a 10-year-old kid or a 13-year-old kid who was addicted to crack, who had gone up on a rooftop and shot a gun and accidentally killed a woman in another apartment. So when the cops figured it out,
sounds like Wednesday in Chicago. Hell yeah!
They went to his mom and they were trying to get the kid. Turns out the mom's a hooker and she's all addicted to crack too.
Woo!
They find this dealer and arrest him for basically putting the kid on the roof with a gun. And what it turns out to be was that the mother had sold her son to the dealer for about $170 or $870 worth of debt on her fucking drugs.
Damn.
So
Sold
she
into
basically
slavery.
made her son work for the...
So slavery.
Yeah, it was slavery.
Yeah.
That was the name of the episode. But yeah, the kid was just, a fucked up kid from the streets, and his mom was a hooker, and he just got sold because his mom didn't give a fuck about him. So, really rough episode, but Law and Order is just funny in that way that, like, you can sit down and really get into a one episode. It's about an hour, you know what I mean? So you get into a storyline, and there's some bad jokes, some bad cop jokes and stuff.
Of course.
But it's fun to watch. There's always shit in the stories. I originally got into Law and Order because of SVU.
Right.
That was a really good
Ice-T.
series of shows. And then, after that I kind of watched the old ones. And Law and Order's pretty cool. It's got a lot of bad fucking stories and bad cop lines. And out of 1 to 10 police guns, I'll give it 7 police guns.
Or donut shops.
There you go, donuts and coffees. I'll give it 7
It'd be like
donuts and coffees.
it'd be like a guy whose gun jams, and the cop's like, "Yeah, he didn't have a shot."
Yeah. No, dude, and it's like that every time. Like they're like they stop a bomber, and they're like, "I guess his fuse ran out." It's like, what?
I'm glad we didn't blow it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it goes to commercial, and you're like, what just happened? Because nobody talks like that.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I know it's sarcastic, but that's how they roll regularly.
All right, folks. I think that's about it. We're getting ready to wrap this up. Trevor, you want to grab your guitar?
Yeah, we'll have some more episodes coming out. We'll have
Angela's helping us set
episode
up
27
the,
and 28. We're on social media now,
the
I guess.
Facebook page. Yeah, we're
Twitter.
gonna get started on all that. Get you guys some clips and some pictures and all that cool shit.
We're not going to be responding to social media, but somebody will. Eventually.
Now, what you should do is you put the links to those social medias in the description of the video.
No, that's what we're going to do. The problem is right now it's still in beta phase. We're still trying to figure out the details.
But yes,
So,
we
be
will
waiting
put the
on
links.
that.
We'll put links on there in the description.
We'll put links on the Barbie. All right, Trevor. Give the people what they want. You got to give the people what they want.
It's kind of dark.
That was awesome. Might as well be walking on the sunset. Trevor just picked up my glass and is using it as a slide. It's pretty funny. That's how you play a tea jug. All right,
What's
folks.
up, Lipton Tea? What's good?
That's been Two Lonely Boys in a Canoe. We appreciate you coming
Later,
and listening
everybody.
to us today. Sage, thank you again for joining us, man. It's
Absolutely.
always a pleasure.
Remember to
Always
piss
good
on
be
your
here.
waitresses and tip urinals, folks.
Yeah, tip your babies and punch your waitresses. All right, guys.
Wait, what?
See you, or talk to you
Hell
next time.
yeah.